The class valedictorian is awarded to the student who is ranked first in the senior class. This year we have two valedictorians. From Methuen, a student from veterinary science, Allison Christophels, and from Information Technology Services, a student from Danvers, Prabjar Kaur. Allison will speak first.
As most of you know, even if Allison is the name written on all of my records, it was never a name I went by at this school. I was always Kitty, from day one of freshman year to both staff and students. However, more recently, another name has also been used to identify me, Tobi. Now, I am many things, but I'm also not many things. Technically, I'm valedictorian, but I'm nowhere near a speechwriter or deliverer. I am an animal lover, and have been since day one. However, I'm also a retail worker, and because of it, I slowly lose hope in humanity every day. I may be a nerd, a geek, a supposedly smart person, but I'm also just simply a student. I procrastinate over everything. I have anxieties and fears, standing up here talking to you being one of them. But in essence, I'm just like the rest of you. Someone once said, all we are is human, nothing more, nothing less. I'm not greater or better than any of you, just because I'm standing up here due to some numbers. We are all equal, and we are all human. That's one of the reasons I loved this school to no end. I loved the open, accepting community it brought. I loved how everyone gave us the freedom to explore ourselves, how we wished. I remember freshman year, coming in knowing that I was one of the outcasts, who floated outside the cliques. However, I rather quickly found that the majority of the rest of the student body was pretty much the same way. We were all our old school's different people, and at the Aggie, or at the Tech, we found a place where we could belong. We found a community that didn't really care as a whole about who you were, just as long as you were a good person. I know for myself, I never quite knew who I was, which is why I never really fit in. In middle school, I described myself as floating under the radar. I mean, I was involved and made friends, but I never really found myself. You know that feeling? I'm sure you've all felt it. Students, teachers, faculty alike. The feeling that there's just something else that isn't quite found out yet, something that you don't know about yourself. It was thanks to this school, this community of teachers and students, that I was allowed to find that, and I'll be forever grateful. There was one day in junior year, I remember with Mr. Stark, who, mind you, I hadn't even had as a teacher yet. It was the day he ended up being the first teacher I told about questioning my identity. I'll never forget the acceptance he showed me that day, and every day after that. Senior year was when I started going by a different name, and started asking staff to change pronouns for me. All of my teachers, all of the students, and all of the administrators I met with had done everything and anything they could to accommodate me, and that was what was allowed me to explore, and eventually realize exactly who I was, Tobi. I'm sure most of you have at least felt that same openness simply radiating throughout this school community. To be honest, I'm kind of afraid of moving on, because after the school is the real world. The real world doesn't have this kind of acceptance, doesn't have this community. And that's exactly why I'm so glad I chose to come here. This kind of community is essential for us. It's 4 years to find out who we are in an environment that allowed us the exploration. It is essential to give us a chance to grow confident and gain the skills needed to be able to assert who we are to others. When I was looking for quotations to put in the speech, there were plenty that stood out to me, but didn't quite fit the theme I chose. Until, of course, I stumbled across one in particular, said by Brandon Sanderson, an author. Somehow, we'll find it. The balance between whom we wish to be and whom we need to be. But for now, we simply have to be satisfied with who we are. It stuck with me because I knew that is how this school functions. Everyone knows that eventually we need to find that balance, but at the same time, before we can do that, we need to find ourselves. And so, Essex Tech gave us that opportunity, and I could never be thankful or grateful enough for it. As for those cheesy life lessons, I figure I should at least put some in here. Or at least try to, because I'm sure I really know just very, very little about life just yet. I'll learn as I go, just as I've always done, and I'm sure all of you are going to do and are still doing. But I want to give a couple shout-outs first. I want to thank Jasmine Dupuis for showing me that being more than different was perfectly okay, and for encouraging me to be who I was. I want to thank Andrew Fagusha for showing me that there is someone in your life who can never fail to put a smile on your face. I want to thank Lorenzo Giangregorio for showing me that people's opinions don't mean anything, and that as long as you love what you're doing, that's all that matters. I want to thank Emily Colbert for showing me determination is a wonder worker, and as long as you think you can, you can. I want to thank Alexa Marquis for everything she's done for me and being the encouragement I needed. I want to thank Michaela Ramsey for showing me that it's important to stand up for what you believe in. I want to thank Nicholas Barletta for showing me that there's always more to someone than that meets the eye. And last, but certainly not least, I want to thank Bobby Ferrulo for being there since day one, before day one, actually, and staying by my side through everything. I wouldn't be who I am without all of you, and I'm beyond thankful I know you all and have met you all. And so, I think I want to use those as the life lessons for all of you. I'm sure all of you have found those people in your life that gave you those same lessons, maybe others as well. And I'm sure we all have those people, and that's what we do in life. We learn and grow from those around us. I was listening to Wicked recently, and some of the lyrics really resonated with me. I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something that we must learn. And we are led to those who help us most to grow, if we let them, and we help them in return. It really is true, and that's what we have to do. Learn and grow, and help others around us do the same. Our high school years here gave us that chance in our own community, but now we need to go on into our own, whether it be to college or work, and we need to go on and do it ourselves. And just because I'm a sap for nostalgia and Dr. Seuss, here's one last quote I'm sure you all know quite well, but one that we all must take into consideration, because it's more than true. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. So go on, go forth and enjoy new adventures, and always remember that it's yourself that needs finding before your dreams, because there's one more thing to remember that I will leave you with tonight. John Lennon has many of them, but what you need to remember most is life is what happens when you're busy making other plans.